All right, episode 3.
Episode 3, here we are.
You ready, man?
I am so ready. Let's do this.
All right. So welcome to episode 3 of Diary of an Indie Band. We are Loops, as you know. I'm Kevin. This is
John. I'm right over here.
all right. And
Right in front of you?
Yeah, let's get down to brass tacks, man. Let's just get right to it. How was your week, man?
Yeah, week was pretty good. It's definitely been a busy week, but it's been good because most of the opportunities that I thought were kind of going to be holding us back with these restrictions that are still in place until I think tomorrow, Tuesday.
I
think it's Tuesday, the 18th. Voice crack right there. So yeah. I mean, I've just been trying my best to get as many gigs as possible. So I mean, we're booking up February left, right, and center. So
Yeah, that's been pretty good.
we're super excited for that. And
You got us, 3 or 4 gigs this week?
something like that.
Just
so,
for February alone.
Yeah, and
so.
there's a couple other things that I'll touch on later. But I mean, something with my goals is you want to make as many gigs that week that you're playing that week. I think is a good goal.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're booking Saturday and Sunday afternoon or something like that, then that following week you want to book 2 gigs or during that week, if that kind of makes sense. Or if you're booking Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're booking 4 gigs. Try and do the exact same thing.
I like that. So you're always replenishing whatever gigs are coming off.
I think that's one thing that
you have other ones backing them up.
Yeah, that might have been missed before in the past, where it's like,
sure.
I don't know why this didn't click in before, but I mean that's one thing to be successful as a musician, right?
Absolutely.
And that doesn't mean reach out to 4 different places, because sometimes it's reaching out to 20 different places.
100%,
right?
it is.
Because I don't even know how many. It was like about 20 that I reached out just on Friday alone.
Yep.
And one got back to me.
Hey, man.
But I mean, hey, it's also Friday end of the week, so that doesn't mean that the door isn't open later in the future. It's just that one day.
But some of those other ones might be reaching out to you. They might get back to us a week and a half from now, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that the longest time that one's taken to get back to me is I reached out to this place in Nelson back in August. And then the dude ended up messaging me back in December. So, I mean, it was 4 months later or something like that.
Oh, wow.
But
yeah, hey, man. People get busy and they have their own schedules.
It happens.
For all you know, they only just check every 2 weeks, right? And then book for a month and a half straight.
Yeah.
We don't know what other people are doing.
No, not at all.
So the best avenue and the best course of action is basically just go and put your name out there as much as possible. Just contact as many people as we possibly can.
Exactly.
That's fantastic. Yeah. I know you were pretty busy on that.
Yeah, pretty busy. I mean, what else can I say about the week? I mean, yeah, it's just been more of the same, I guess. Wednesday, I was super stoked just to get out of the house for a while and get out golfing. So we went to the golf simulator, Breaking Park Golf.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because at the end of the day, that's been a big thing for my week as well too, is a little bit of self-realization that hey, it's awesome to be balls to the walls and just freaking burning the candle at both ends and really, really working super, super hard. We're working so hard at this every single day, but you also don't want to burn yourself out.
No,
it's
not
important
at all.
to have that downtime, and we did that. So we went to Breaking Park Golf.
We did. It was awesome. I was super stoked to just get out and hit the golf club.
Yeah, you whooped me.
The very first shot that I took, I think, went 133 yards on a par 400 yard hole or something like that. It was awful, to say the least. But I had so much fun, and it was great to get on out. And I ended up shooting an 85, which is right around my handicap or so. I'm usually a 13 or 14 handicap, so I was pretty stoked with that, to actually be able to shoot that after 3 months of no golf.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. So
you avoided a meltdown hole like I had.
You know what? You only had one meltdown hole though.
Yeah, it was bad though. It was a 13 stroke. It was 8 over par. So what happened is my first shot, I went a little short. It was only a couple hundred yards on my drive. Normally I can drive up to 280, 300, pretty consistent. If I'm hitting a flash, I get a good drive.
you outdrove me on that hole. Yeah, I think you did, because I only hit it 118.
I might have, yeah. But then my next shot was my 3-wood, and normally I slice a lot, and everything was going to the left all day. It was crazy, which will be great throughout the season if I've now somehow cured the slice in the off season. I don't know, but it went. My 3-wood went 245 yards or something crazy, but off to the left into another fairway.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm only about 150. break out the 9-iron. I'm like, this is an easy 9-iron for me.
I remember it went like 250 yards, but it went all the way to the left. All the way crazy. To the left.
It was straight as an arrow.
It was the other fairway on a virtual golf course.
On a virtual golf course, yeah. And then my next shot, I'm like, okay, I can get to the hole easy with a 9, but still getting used to the lengths were just kind of all out of whack, and I went way short. Landed like 30 yards short of the hole, but there was a road.
Yeah.
And
you were still on like the other side of the road.
Yeah, I was on the side closer to me of the road, but then there's a wall. And so I'm like,
you have to get over. Yeah.
And I'm landing right beside the wall. So instead of just, I don't even know how I would have done it in a virtual capacity. In real life,
I don't know how you would have done it in real life.
In real life, like, I maybe would have chopped it. It hit the wall, bounced back, given myself at least 15, 20 yards, and then I could have popped it over. But I didn't. I was trying to be a hero. I'm like, oh, maybe we'll just go through the wall because it's virtual. It didn't. And then the guy's like, he's watching now.
Yeah.
The guy running the place, and he's like, oh, maybe if you just flop it up high. I'm like, okay. So I flop it super high, but it doesn't even register the shot properly. And then I flop it again, but now it lands in between the two, the road. And I'm like, oh no. It was a disaster. I didn't even get close to the hole until like 10 shots in.
Yeah, like it was shot 10, and then you were like by the green, and then you chipped up and down from there.
It's nice flops, but man, it was a mess.
It was fun though. I mean, besides that, it was a good time. It was a really, really good time. I really recommend it to everybody who's out in Kamloops or out in the region. Go and check it out. Breaking Park Golf, Brett and Brett, who are out there. It's
2 Bretts.
It's really awesome to just go out there and just hit a couple balls and
and one thing we started doing last week, hopefully you guys noticed, was we put up the links as well on our Instagram for everybody that we kind of gave a shout out to. Unless we're talking about like Ed Sheeran or something, he doesn't need the recognition.
He probably doesn't. And we probably have talked about him now in every single episode.
This is a tradition. That's why I had to bring him up.
Exactly.
But we made a point of making sure that we give shout outs to people that, maybe it helps. Maybe honestly, like 2 people that didn't know about Breaking Park Golf, go check it out now. And if you are checking it out, or if you even shoot them a message, or you follow them on Instagram, let them know, hey, Loop sent me.
Yeah.
Right. And that's that would be great for us. We want to let people know that, hey, we're trying to help the community as best we can. And hopefully people, when we ask for people to help us and spread the word about us and our album and our social medias, they see that we're not just asking and never giving back. Like we want to extend our hand first. And if people grab it and hand in hand, we help each other, then that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. That pretty much summarizes my week. Cool. The only other thing that was going on was just making sure that our next single is up and ready to go. So
I was waiting for you to get to that.
Yeah, so that was the next point that I was going to get to. But I mean, it was, I don't know, Wednesday or Thursday or something like that when I ended up uploading that, and then making sure that it's over 2 weeks out. So that was good just to get that up, and then making sure that we had a good solid pitch for our Spotify playlisters and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so for people that don't understand what he's talking about is we use a distributor. So unless you're signed to like a record label or something big where they're actually going to get the songs out for you themselves, you need to get your songs out there somehow. And there's 195 different services and places. Like that, like it's crazy. Everything down to like Napster still exists.
Yeah.
And it still makes music, and you can still get songs on it. So what you do is you need to actually have like an actual digital distributor. So you have services. We did a whole bunch of research and looked into which one we were going to pick. Of all the options, DistroKid is the one that we knew the most people that used. And we're not just talking kind of smaller artists or indie artists, but like Doug Cox, our producer, we've talked about him every episode as well, I think now. Doug uses DistroKid himself, and he says it's fantastic, and he's really happy with that service as well. So at the end of the day, you need to find the right TuneCore is one. We were looking at TuneCore a fair bit. There's a lot of really good options. We chose DistroKid. You pay whatever amount your yearly membership, if you get a deal or whatever, it's $30-$40, something like that. And then you upload your song, and they'll put it out to everybody. They'll distribute it out to all the different streaming services. So the one thing we didn't realize at first, when we very, very first brought out our songs 2 years ago now, we made That Won't Do and One More Story. And John, you've mentioned this story a few times. You might have actually mentioned it on the podcast. I can't remember if you did or not, but
I'm not sure.
On the very first day, we brought out That Won't Do, and it was ready to go. We finished it that afternoon. We uploaded it to DistroKid. We went out to open mic that night, and we were so excited. We're telling everybody, yeah, hopefully we'll be up there in an hour or two. Hopefully we did
it's
it this
probably up there right now.
Already on Spotify.
It was on the drive down, guys.
Yeah,
it's like, way up there. Absolutely. While we're listening to like the MP3 version or whatever else, we didn't even go and check.
Yeah, we had no clue. We didn't know. We didn't go look on Spotify if it was there or not.
Exactly.
We just assumed it was. we told everybody, go find it.
Absolutely.
It wasn't there for like 4 or 5 days at least.
Like, and it was right around Christmas.
Where is this thing?
It's like right around Christmas, I remember.
So in the spirit of our podcast is just as much chronicling our journey as much as it is trying to help out anyone that maybe is a couple steps behind us on their own path. I think that's pretty sage advice. If you haven't ever done anything like that, when you have your song ready to upload, give yourself a couple week window. Biggest reason is you need absolute minimum 7 days for Spotify themselves to actually put you on any of their editorial playlists.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that. We didn't know that until we were doing this album.
Yeah.
And they'll walk you through it. DistroKid and Spotify for Artists, they all have like pretty cool videos now that kind of walk you through step by step. This is how you submit it. And you had said yourself, you alluded to that a couple minutes ago now.
Yeah.
Just saying about how, I'd done a pretty good pitch. The pitch, you got to basically summarize why, if I'm just random person working for Spotify, why am I picking Checking Out by Loops to go on our new music radar, or to go on this, easy listening,
New Music Fridays,
indie pop or whatever. Like there's thousands of playlists and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds that are actually Spotify official playlists. They have them for every genre. Why is yours stand out? Because they're not going to put 5,000 songs on a playlist. They're only going to have a few on it because they want those songs to shine and have their moment in the spotlight. But you have to get that in early, and you want at least a 2-week buffer to actually give them time to digest and find your song and not to get lost in the shuffle. So if you're listening and you're trying to figure out how to get on good playlists, how to get a little more of those streams for your songs, that's a really good tip, hopefully, that we can help you out with as well. Get
Absolutely.
on the Spotify playlist.
Yeah. And on that note as well, there was something else that you brought up where, like DistroKid is kind of like that middleman. It's the middleman between the artist and Spotify.
Absolutely.
Right? So if you're an artist who's out there who's like, I've got this music and it's ready to go, but I don't know how to get it from here in front of literally millions of people who are listening to Spotify or Apple Music or Google Play, which is now YouTube Music or whatever it's called, or Amazon Music, all these kind of different streaming services, Napster that you were talking about earlier, right? So
Tidal.
So yeah, exactly. You also have to find the one that works best for you, right?
Yes.
So find the one, the middleman, you want to find that distributor who's going to be able to help you out as much as you want. Like the one that we have, like, works for, we're like our package is what I'm talking about. It's about like we get 2 different artist profiles that we can attach to it.
Well, we did the label package. So even if you actually aren't a label yourself, if you're just the artist, then you can have unlimited uploads of songs, I think, but maybe only one album. Like there's limitations.
Yeah. And then the very basic one, I know that it's like $15 or like $19 or something like that for that very basic one, but you can't pick your release date, which is really, really tough. So I recommend that you go for like that middle one where you're only like two artists, or go for the label one, which is like $80 or something like that. So one of those two are going to be way better for your promotion further down the road, right?
Yeah,
like
man.
this album that we've got coming out, which, fingers crossed nothing else goes wrong, is February 25th.
Yes.
Right. So February 25th is the day that our album comes out, 12 a.m. Eastern time. So that's actually February 24th at 9 p.m. Pacific, just so everybody kind of knows what's going on with that. And we put a lot of thought into why we decided to do it the way that we did.
Absolutely.
But, we've got a very big plan that we've had over the last, however long we've been thinking about doing an album, 3 years, pretty much, right? Where you're thinking about how are we going to properly do this, and then the promotional part where we release one single, 4 weeks later another single, 4 weeks later there's the album.
Absolutely.
So it's just a way of going about it and how to figure it out, because if we tried to do everything like just pitch Parachute, our first single, or pitch the album, right? That would have been it, right? Just release everything all at the same time. We wouldn't have been able to do it the same way that we're able to do it now, where 100%. We can go to these Spotify playlists and whatnot. So anyway, that's my week.
That's John Spiel.
Yeah, exactly. I want to hear about your week, buddy. I want to hear how you've been.
Yeah, same thing. Just grinding, working on getting getting Parachute still out there as much as possible. I've really kind of tried to take a reins on trying to get it out there and promote it on things like Submit Hub. Submit Hub, again, has been huge for me. Haven't tested the waters on Groover yet. Spoke with a couple friends that even gave us feedback since
I was able to get like a little bit of insight into that like a week ago or so.
Yeah.
But I haven't.
Yeah, and I think it's in my goals for next week too, is I might kind of dip my toes into the Groover pool a little bit too and see what they're all about. But I've really been enjoying Submit Hub. I've had some good conversations. I actually got added to a Discord this week for Submit Hub artists.
Nice.
One of them invited me to it. He liked our song and was just like, hey, this might help. They give each other tips and pointers and kind of navigate it.
Nice.
Honestly, like 85, from what I've been finding, like 85% of the comments and people just listening to your song, like they're just doing it.
Paste.
They're copy and pasting their comments, and they're just doing it just so they can get the credits within the actual site itself to be able to promote their song more. Mm-hmm. But there is a solid like 15 to 20% ratio of people that are interested that will like your song if it is actually decent.
Right.
And we were hitting that algorithm pretty good. I passed off to a friend of mine a couple suggestions of actual influencers and curators that were pretty happy and got us on a few lists. One thing that was pretty cool this week was we got a bunch of streams from Germany, which we thought was kind of neat.
It was very cool. Yeah.
Had 25 listeners or something like that from Germany or something like that.
Crazy. It was like our third most not even like country, but it was like per cities as well. Yeah. It was like Quedlinburg, Germany or something like that. I don't want to like say what it is because I don't know what it is, right? Or where it is. I have no clue where it is.
Yeah.
Right. But we got 25 listeners just from that one city.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. That's one big thing too, is I think our supporters have been incredible. I know they've been incredible. I know a lot of people have been playing the song on repeat. I think 78% or something crazy of our songs have been played by people's playlists and stuff. So I know people are they're putting us on playlists and they're playing it a lot.
Right.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah.
If you are liking the song, one big thing I want to kind of shoot out while I'm talking about my week, just because it's something that's close to my mind, because I was working on a lot this week, is just looking at the metrics and trying to break down our numbers. Because unfortunately, until we've established a really strong name for us on like a provincial / Canada, countrywide / global scale, which is our large, ambitious, our dream.
Yeah.
Until we get to that point where Loops has like a name that precedes us, people are just going to judge us on numbers and they're going to judge us on metrics. Yep. It's just the way it is in 2022 with music. So the one big thing is if I can make a request, if you are somebody that's listening to us, and a lot of you, I know for a fact that support us and have been on this journey and are already listening to the podcast, a lot of you have your own digital copy of the whole album. And I know for a fact, because of the feedback I've gotten from friends, family, supporters, of our, what did you say the number was? 70, 80 people already that have listened to the podcast in the first 2 weeks?
We were just over 80 as of yesterday.
Which is crazy, by the way. Yeah. Thank you to every one of you.
Thank you to every single person.
We were anticipating 5 people.
We were.
We said that, we joked about that in the first episode.
Absolutely.
But of all those people, I know a big portion of you are dedicated Loop supporters, and you're probably the person that already has the album. You've listened to every song. You've listened to Let Me as many times as you've listened to Coast to Coast, as much as you've listened to Parachute.
Yeah.
But to you, Parachute is just song number 2 on the album. It's not an individual single that you can go listen to on Spotify, because why would you? Because you have it on an MP3, probably on your phone. If you're listening to it on your car ride to work, you're just playing the MP3 because you bought that, or we gave it to you and we gave you the code. For all of those people, a humble request, if I can make it, would just be go on to Spotify or iTunes, whatever you use for streaming, and just check it out really quick. Especially if you're already listening to this podcast through iTunes or iPod, as we joked about before, or through Spotify. It takes 2 more seconds to go over to the music profile, listen to the song once, and then at least it counts you as a monthly listener for our metrics.
Yep.
And also on top of that too, if you can just hit a follow under us, because the amount of people that have actually followed Loops compared to the amount of people that have listened, it's a big drop off. And that's not a criticizing thing. That's not a bad thing. It's just, I think people are very supportive, and we've done a really good job of getting our songs out there digitally early to everybody as a thank you.
Yeah.
But we don't want to cut off our hand to spite our foot. Right. So if everyone doesn't mind doing that, if you are supporting us, please do that. Shoot us a follow. The biggest reason as well is going hand in hand what you already said. Checking out's coming. It's going to be here in a week and a half.
Yeah.
So when checking out arrives, I want to know that all of you guys are going to have it automatically on your playlist. It's already going to be on. It will be on your new music radar.
Yeah.
Just because you will have already followed loops. If you don't do that, it won't automatically go on those playlists for you. And we want to get that song out there to as many people as well. So
absolutely, we do.
That's my little spiel about that.
I like it.
And then the other big thing is just being trying to, like I said before, focus on just the balance between aggressively chasing our goal, aggressively busting our ass for this dream, and it's a job. We treat this like more than a 9-to-5 job, but also not burning ourselves out. Yeah. I've been feeling a little mentally fatigued over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And I don't want that to affect the overall output and production that we have, both of us as a team in Loop. So it's been, yesterday, we both together as roommates, we brought your PS4 upstairs, plugged it into the TV I have. I have two TVs in my living room because I'm ridiculous. Yeah. And one I use for gaming and one I use for watching movies and binging shows while I game.
Yeah. Okay, buddy.
It's a true story. And
everybody's rolling their eyes right now.
This guy sucks.
Yeah.
And so John plugged in your PS4 beside me, and we both played Red Dead online with a couple of my oldest friends, Rob Groh and Dustin Hawkins. Shout out to both of those guys back in Ontario, and we just played Red Dead for a little while, and it was fun, man. Like it was so good to just. I love this band and I love everything about what we're doing. Absolutely, I'm chasing my dream, and this has been the ride of a lifetime so far. It's been amazing, but. It's work. It becomes work. When it's serious and you have everything riding on it, it's a job, and you have to treat it that way or you won't be successful.
Well, and then that's the thing too, is like, especially in the way that everything's set up, it's not like you can just shut off your mind and then go home. It's not like you clock out at 5 p.m. and you're in the car by 5:05 and
Absolutely.
then you're, at home at 5:30 and then it's like, cool, I can just relax. It's not in a bad way, but we'll everywhere I look, right? It's like, it's a reminder of loops. 100%. Like downstairs in the basement where me and my girlfriend live, that's where a bedroom is, right? And then I set up the piano in the other side of the room, and there's 3 guitars in that room, and then there's, you walk over to the bathroom, and then there's all the speakers, there's all the merch, there's
you can't avoid it, and I can't avoid it upstairs.
Well,
either,
and then exactly, you come right on upstairs, and then it's we've got our laptops out, and then it's just everything. Like, this is what we're working on this weekend, whatever else, right?
And I think that's good. I think that's why we've been successful. We've made it 100% of our attention, but
I remember like pre-COVID doing like 16-hour days, right? Where like that was just like a month or two into like the band actually formed.
Absolutely.
Right. But that's like, like, how do we do things? How do we make a poster?
I didn't know how to make a poster. Right? It's been 14 hours on a poster.
I can make one.
I'm pretty good at it now.
Exactly. But now you take charge of all that and you know what you're doing, right?
Exactly.
When it comes to booking gigs, I feel like I'm really good at that because I've got like
but you put those reps
a way to like, to reach people and say like, hey, this is what we're all about. Yeah. Check it out, our EPK, which, you also like work super hard on that. It's like all these little things, right? It takes, small steps to make progress, but like we have taken a lot of small steps to get to where we are.
Absolutely.
Right.
So proud of that. And I'm really excited where we are. And I think 2022 is going to be easily our best year yet. I'm super excited for it all, but it also, we can't burn ourselves out.
Yeah,
I think it's very important, especially because of this. We don't work, like I said, 9 to 5. We don't work 7 days. We're not working like a Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
So if we're working every single day, like there isn't a day that goes by where I'm not doing something Loops related, period.
Yeah.
It's true. Putting content on Instagram, social media, working on the TikTok
every single day.
TikTok
we're at least checking emails.
Yeah,
right?
Our TikTok's been good. We've been working on that, and it's up to like over almost 300 or 400.
Yeah, I know. You're just doing whatever. Over there. Yeah, so I'm like, I haven't even seen what you've been doing over on TikTok, but I'm like, all right, cool, videos, just go for it.
But it's been fun, right? So, but all that stuff, like I said, that takes time, and that's. When it's your job, it's not as fun. It takes the edge off the funness. So, and that's okay. But I think it's important just to unwind a little. So that was a big part of the week. And that sums up my week.
But yeah, stuff like that and, breaking par golf, like doing stuff like that,
Absolutely.
like it's just really good for your mental health.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's really good to get out of the house, especially in the winter.
Well, I think
in Canada.
We worked so hard. November 5th, I think was the day we went to the studio. Is that right? November 5th?
No,
or 16th
no.
Or something like that?
We went on the 24th.
Oh my God.
November 5th, we went down to the Mint.
That's
and we
right.
played. So
yes.
we did 2 separate trips to the island in
That's right.
November.
100%. So I feel like between us going down for that first trip, in November.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's right. We played the FE Collective, and then we went to down to the island.
Yeah,
on the 8th,
did
which was a Monday.
2 ticketed shows back to back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So basically, since that point, we were getting ready as we got home to get down to the island again in 2 weeks and actually finish the final studio session
for like eight of those days.
Oh yeah,
it was nuts.
Sick.
It was the worst.
100%. So I think it's been basically just we've had our foot to the pedal that entire time. And in the summer, at least, I never felt like I encountered any of these kind of like, not blues, but more just hitting a wall and mentally fatigued. And I never encountered that in the summer, but I think it's because we were playing golf a couple times a week at least.
Yeah. Getting out of the house, right?
Just take your brain off.
And that's the thing too. I'm sure that we've mentioned it before, but I mean, like, as much as we love golf and just love talking about golf, we also, when we're out at the golf course, we're talking about loops. We're talking about emails that have come in that day. Like if I'm out at, the golf course working for 6 hours or something, you let me know what's happened in those 6 hours.
But it's a change of pace, right? It's a change of atmosphere.
Absolutely.
You're just doing something fun, you enjoy, right?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
It's key.
And the golf rounds are typically like 2 to 4 hours long.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, a lot of business deals in North America get done on the golf course.
Exactly.
Right? So,
yeah. So it's a lot of time to talk about stuff.
Yeah. So that was my big lesson for me. That was a big learning thing I kind of encountered this week. And yeah, I would say that's kind of the highlight of my week beyond just the work and the 9 to 5, so to speak. I think that was a big thing for me. So
cool.
Sweet. You want to hit top 5 next or our songs of the week? What do you think?
We did top 5 last week. Do you like to doing top 5 next?
No, I'm good. Kind of throwing people a little curveball every once in a while, and
cool.
You do whatever order you want. What do you want to talk about first? Do you want to talk about top 5?
What?
Or you want to
While
talk
we're
about...
still kind of on the subject, let's talk about our new music this week.
Cool.
So I'm gonna go first because I feel like this guy really, really ties into what we've got going on.
All right.
With our stuff. I found him through like a Facebook group that I'm a part of, and super awesome guy. I still haven't heard back from him yet if we can play a song, but hopefully by the time of this podcast we can obviously release that or whatever else. His name's Jonathan Williams.
Okay.
His song is called One of Those Days. I really recommend everybody to go and pause it right now. Go and listen to the song, but if you're just going to listen through, then that's totally cool.
All right. Sounds good.
Try again to hold on to the last thread of hope. The life I once led is all but dead to me. Only you can give me hope. It's been one of those days. Everything is too much to take. I'm gonna break in pieces. I fall away. Now I gotta hold on tight and hope you get me out alive one day.
Wow, it's pretty cool, hey?
Yeah. I really, really like that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
A lot. The production on it was insane.
Yeah, it's really, really well done.
So smooth and professional. That sounds so commercial. That's really, really
so
good.
much, hey? Yeah. And he's got a good, like, deep voice. Like,
his voice is powerful. You can hear there's a couple notes that he was hitting, and I'm like, oh man, I can see this guy just crushing like before he was big, or before he was becoming his own independent, like Bon Jovi and stuff.
Yeah, that kind of vibe,
like,
hey?
There was a couple high notes he started hitting. Yeah, that was really cool. I love like kind of the feel and the there's something really neat about that, man. It felt very much like kind of like, I want to say like Meatloaf, kind of like just operatic kind of.
Right.
Yeah, like Andrew
that kind
Lloyd
of vibe,
Webber,
hey?
kind of like cool vibe to the actual song itself and the way it was kind of composed and put together and just the background. It was really, really cool.
It was cool. Yeah. So
it definitely has me wanting more, man. I want to check out more of his stuff. That was so cool.
Jonathan Williams, he's from Vernon, BC.
So around the corner from us, it's an hour away.
An hour away or something like that.
That's so
cool. He doesn't have a lot of followers on Instagram at this moment. I mean, it's all
irrelevant.
It's all relevant to what you find as a lot of followers, I guess.
Oh, okay,
is what I'm looking for there. But I mean, like his Instagram is Jonathan Official Music. all spelt very, very straightforward.
Cool.
It's all just one word.
Give him a follow right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's got some awesome stuff out there. Yeah, I don't know too much about him because I couldn't find too much on his Instagram or on his Facebook when I started following his.
Well, hopefully at the very least, your pick will inspire a bit of a relationship with us, with him.
Yeah.
We like to bond and connect with artists that are at the similar kind of stage as us. And yeah, Jonathan, if you're listening to the podcast, that song's awesome, dude.
It's totally awesome.
I thought it was so cool, John.
Yeah.
Nice pick, man.
Absolutely.
Nice pick.
Yeah. What's your pick, buddy?
So my pick is I'm actually going back to someone I had picked already before. Christopher J. Niles.
Okay. I recognize that.
Yeah. And I had brought him up and mentioned one of his songs, Adult Town, in week 1. So we actually went and added on a sidebar. This is a perfect time to mention this on our Spotify. When you actually go to our artist profile, you can actually see a playlist that I've made, and it's called Diary of an Indie Band, and it's all the songs that we've ever mentioned in our new music little part of the podcast. So if we've mentioned it, it's on there. So Adult Town's on there, Parachute's on there because we mentioned that as well too.
Yeah.
Your Noah Kahan one from week 1. Like, so we've mentioned all the songs, and then so these two this week, yeah, they're going to be on there as well. So feel free to check all those out. Give follows to all these guys. This is the second Chris Niles song. The reason being is his album that he worked on throughout the pandemic. He's in a band. I might have mentioned it in week 1, but it's called Partners in Health. Right. And they're fairly well established back in London, Ontario, where I'm from. He brought out his own album called Thames River Anthology, and that's because he was biking along the Thames River, which is the huge river that cuts through London, Ontario. And he was doing that all throughout COVID, the pandemic, and he just came up with all the melodies and all the songs that he basically presented on his album. Very cool. Came up with those during his bike rides, so he kind of decided to make his own independent thing. He recorded it all himself. I think it's awesome. I really enjoyed it. I love the vibe and the chill kind of. It's just different. It's a cool. I'll get into a little more what I loved about it when it's done here, but without saying too much, the song I picked off of the full album, now that it's out, which came out 2 days ago, I believe, I chose the song Lion Man, just like lion, like king of the jungle, Lion Men, and that's my choice. I enjoyed it. I like that. That one struck me the most, I think, of all the songs that are on there. So let's see what you think. All right.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Chris Niles, he's got some pretty cool stuff. You know what? I haven't listened to his entire album yet, but I think I'm definitely going to.
Yeah,
just because I like the vibe of where everything's going and how it has been over these 2 songs.
We've heard 2 now. Yeah. And there's like 3 or 4 others. Like, I mean, I think it's 10 song album.
Okay.
There's at least 3 or 4 more that really struck me, though, that I was like, ooh, like that really stood out.
Nice.
So yeah, I think it's just different, man. It's chill. It's to me like that song gives me just a real cool vibe. Like I love driving at nighttime. Like on like long road trips. Yeah. And some of my, favorite people in the world are listening to this podcast, and I already know for a fact they listen every time. Jeff Boshane's a perfect example of someone who, he's one of my absolute best friends in the world. He's my brother. I was best man at his wedding. And Jeff can vouch, like anytime I've ever been on a road trip with him, which now that we're adults and we have families, we don't go on long road trips like we used to. But we were on road trips where we literally, I've told you some stories where we drove down to Florida and drove around the entire like perimeter of Florida over a 2-week span with me, him, and our other best buddy, Simon Kim. And we were driving like through the night a lot of these nights just to get to the next town and do the next fun destination. And anytime I've ever done road trips, I always insist on driving at nighttime. It's just, I just like it. It's relaxing. It's calming for me. I don't get tired. I'm alert just because of the lights. And it's just something about it. I just enjoy nighttime driving. I think in another life, I was a truck driver.
Yeah, exactly.
And someone like Jeff can vouch. Like I love that. I always insist. I'm like, nope, you're not driving. You can drive to like 1 or 2 and then I'm taking over. Yeah. So like that 3-4 in the morning drive, like that song is like that. And like most of the album is perfect for that. Yeah. It just feels like what I would listen to if I'm driving on like an empty street in the middle of the night.
Nice.
So I don't know if that was Chris's intention, but that's a beautiful thing about music. It's so subjective. It's by person to person.
Absolutely.
Everyone has their own individual experiences. And that's what it got for me.
It's got me thinking of like a whole bunch of different vibes for it, right? It's got a lot of, like current day Tame Impala, right? Like those kind of vibes, who is one of my favorite musicians of all time. So
nice.
I like hearing something like that. It's something a little bit different, right? That you don't hear every day, right?
Yeah, so. And like the vocals, I've started to notice a bit of a trend, at least on this album. His vocals, just the way they're recorded, like it's almost haunting sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of in the background, they don't dominate the recording. Yeah. And it's by design, I think. And I very much like it. Like it's cool, man. It's different. It's
a good vibe.
Credit to you, Chris. Hats off on the great album. And again, I wouldn't be, keeping to our theme of giving as much as we want to take back. I asked everybody if you can shoot us a follow, please, on streaming services. Do the same for Chris, and also do the same for Jonathan Williams. So give both of those guys a follow. You're going to see their ats on their handles on our Instagram when we talk about this week's episode. Yep. So each episode we talk about, we give a highlight on these are the things we discussed this week. These are the people we mentioned. Shoot them a follow. It takes 2 seconds and it helps them out much more than it hurts you to do it for 2 seconds.
It does.
When you're on the streaming, we're going to have John, when he uploads this, is going to have links on Spotify though as well. Yep. On Spotify, he'll actually put a link for the 2 songs.
Yeah.
Make sure you check out, when you do check out their songs, shoot them a follow as well.
Yeah.
It takes, like I said, 2 seconds, doesn't really hurt, and it helps them out a lot.
For sure.
So those are our 2.
Those are the 2 new music pieces.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, cool. Dude, I am looking forward to hearing your top 5. I am super excited. I once again only came up with my top 5 like this morning, pretty much.
Nice.
But I am stoked about mine, so I want to hear yours first.
Okay, cool. So my top 5, and I think I can now mention this as we're 3 weeks in to the podcast.
Oh God.
I think if you're listening, you know our intentions are good. And we're going to be candid with you. And I can't be candid about the things that we make mistakes on or the things we're learning without being candid also about positive stuff and things that we're ambitious about. So if you know me, you know that when I'm going, like nothing, I won't let anything beat me. I'm really, really, I'm like a bull, right? And I'm like a racehorse, I got the blinders on and I'll push ahead, and I don't like to lose. So I have my top 5 goals.
Oh, okay.
Objectives. I don't know. Now, hold on.
Dude, I was worried that you were going to do your top 5 songs of all time. I'm like, that has to be like episode like 100.
Yeah, no, that's a celebration episode.
I'm letting you know right now that that's got to be one that you have to think about for a long time.
Oh,
before we do that. And you have to consult me before doing that. We don't talk to each other about our top 5s, but that one, when you end up doing that, it has to be for a special occasion.
Well, I'll let you know. I'm not going to ask you to help me with the top 5, but I'll consult you when it's going to happen. But I don't know if I can narrow it down to 5. That's the beauty of the joke.
I know, that's the thing.
That's going to have to be a special one. That will be a special anniversary
100
episode.
Or like 150 or something like that.
Not even 50. You have to be like, maybe the 1 year. Maybe if we have a 1 year episode or something.
I don't know.
That's a big one.
That's the reason why
I was wondering. I was like, what does what does he think is going on here?
Oh, I think I waited until week 3 to do this. It's like, dude, no.
No. So,
everything we work towards.
Yeah, you're like, no, we're saving that one. The top 5 songs of all time.
Yeah.
Again, as you guys probably already remember, that's the whole nexus of our top 5 list.
It's why we do it.
Because I bring that up every show. So you guys will, I promise, you guys will get a top 5, Kevin's top 5 songs of all time.
I can't wait.
Holy hell, it's going to be tough. I'm already feeling a little anxiety now thinking about
it's going to be like
how
2
I could
years,
come up with that top 5. It might take me 2 years to come up with the top 5 list. I might need 2 years to be honest with you. So my top 5 this week is my top 5 goals slash bucket list things that I want to accomplish in 2022 as a band, as Loops. I know last week I went off the board. I talked about athlete comebacks. I wanted to talk about more sports stuff, but I also don't want people thinking it's just Kevin's top 5 sports moment.
Yeah. That's totally cool, man.
It's going to be whatever we feel like chatting about.
Yeah.
And this week, the NFL playoffs are starting. I felt like talking about that. Yeah. There's a bunch of stuff. I felt like talking about wrestling.
Always,
I'm a huge wrestling fan. I grew up loving wrestling. Royal Rumble's coming soon. I felt like discussing that. I'm not going to this week. I felt it was time. I want to get it out there early enough in the year that it's not, episode 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
And it's now, February and March. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm only now bringing up my goals for the season. So, season as in the year.
For Luke's season.
A season for us is January till December.
Exactly. It's 365 days.
Exactly. So, in no particular order, as always.
As always, yeah.
Top 5 things that I want to accomplish as a goal that I think are realistic, by the way. Now, I would love to play Saturday Night Live and things like that. Yeah.
Just before you dive in, super quickly here.
Yes.
Are you going into personal or with the band, with Loops?
Loops.
Okay, sweet.
This is Loops, yes. So top 5 things I want to accomplish find a new instrumentalist.
I want. Oh God!
I want to sing more on the songs, less harmonies.
Yeah, exactly.
Like what? No,
I thought it was gonna be like get 150-inch TV. It's like all these kind of different things. It's like, dude,
these are not my 2022 goals as a human. These are my So this is just as the
shoot
band.
A 72.
Yeah.
Around the golf course.
Incredible shoot par. Oh my God. No, so these are realistic.
Yeah.
they're not unrealistic like shooting a 72 or like playing Wembley Stadium, which one of these top 5 lists you're going to get, John and I's top 5 bucket lists. I know for a fact it will just happen because we've talked about this organically, having drinks and just shooting the shit as buddies.
100%.
Countless times. I can't even count how many times we even have a piece of paper somewhere where we've written down our top 5s guaranteed on road trips.
Yeah.
So we both have, a bucket list top 5 and we'll go through that one day. But this is just 2022 Loops top 5. So number 1, we played Vancouver Island Music Festival last year. It was an amazing experience. As we talked about last week, it was our first time playing an actual festival.
Yeah.
This is my goal for 2022 is I want to play on an actual festival stage.
Yeah.
Not just digital.
Yeah.
I want to actually be on the stage with hundreds, if not thousands of people that have not heard potentially Loops music before.
Mm-hmm.
And that feeling and that rush we have when we're playing in front of a bunch of people who've never heard us and we win over every person in that crowd. I want to do that on a festival fucking stage where there's a lot of people there and they leave being our number 1 fans.
Yeah.
I'm so fired up for that. I can't wait to do that.
100%.
Might even be my number 1 in general.
Yeah.
That's a big one for me. Second, I have on the list here is an Ontario tour.
Yeah.
We had talked about this in 2020 when we first met our producer, Doug Cox. It was at the Emerging Artists Showcase. We had to apply for it. We were
March 2020, like a week before COVID.
Literally, the world was shut down a week later. Like, I think a couple days after we got back is when the NBA stuff was getting canceled and shut down.
Yeah, it was either like right before or right after
that weekend. Yeah, it was right at the same time.
It's a Wednesday or Thursday.
It was crazy. We barely snuck it in and got it done. And that was a big deal for us, but we networked with a bunch of people. And at the time, one of the things they talk about is it's put on by the BC Touring Council. So they're teaching you how to run your own tours.
Yeah.
So we were very excited in March 2020 about doing a tour later that year in 2020 in Ontario. It's always been kind of a good goal because we can start in Ottawa. My family all live there. We can work our way. We can do some shows in Ottawa, work our way down to Toronto. Jeff, as I mentioned before, Simon, like some of my best friends in the world, they live in the Toronto area. So we have accommodations too, which is part of it.
Yeah, my sister lives out there.
Your sister's out there. Yeah. I apologize. Yeah, I totally forgot. Your sister's there too. And then we go down to London where I grew up, play a couple shows in London, turn around, go back to Toronto, all the way back up to Ottawa. So it's perfect. We can play multiple towns in between, easily bang off 2-3 weeks. And it wouldn't even be that hard to organize.
No, it wouldn't.
So we were supposed to do that in 2020. 2021 wasn't even an option, clearly because of COVID. 2022 might be possible. So I'm very excited to potentially book and organize that for near the end of the summer.
Yeah.
Keep in the loop, obviously, so to speak.
Yeah.
Keep watching our webpage and keep listening to the podcast. We'll give you more updates as that starts coming to fruition. But we both are kind of on the same page, I think. I don't think I'm wrong. That's something we both want to do this year. Next one, which is super exciting, and it's part of my goals segment anyways for this week, but we have all of our CDs coming, as we both are super pumped about.
Yeah.
We worked really hard to get a really good manufacturer in the Vancouver area, Got awesome album cover artwork, all that stuff. I worked pretty hard on it myself too. I'm really proud of that because I'm not a super artistic person.
Yeah.
But I was able to make some pretty cool artwork with the help of our graphic designer, Kevin. And I was able to make cool album artwork, and we have a cool CD coming. So those are coming on Tuesday. We physically have them on Tuesday.
Yeah.
There's 525 CDs. One big goal for me in 2022 is organically, without literally just giving 50 to one person just to get rid of them for the sake of getting rid of them. I want to have all those CDs in the hands of people that will actually listen to them, enjoy them.
Right.
I don't want to be sitting here on New Year's Eve and have, 300 CDs in a box.
Right.
And feel like, I didn't do my best to get them into people's ears.
Right.
Not a huge thing, but it's a goal and it's something that's important to me. Next one, consistent radio play. Cool. It's very possible already. We've been so focused on Spotify and the streaming and all that we haven't even approached any radio stations to get radio play right now.
Yeah.
We've been on a couple radio stations already. 92.5. Gary Max put us on there, which was fantastic. We are going to have the Unsigned BC. He's going to be playing us down in Vancouver Island, sorry.
Yep.
Langford,
yep.
BC. So we have a couple outlets already that are going to be playing this on the radio, but we want consistent radio play. And I know the songs we have are worthy of that. It's just a matter of waiting until the CDs are here so we can actually get them into the actual radio plays and get them into the actual people that make the radio playlists. So that's one of them. And the last one is a big one, but it's a big goal of mine for this year, which is sign a record deal.
Right.
Doesn't have to be with Sony, Universal.
Yeah.
But I do, at the very minimum, I want to work with somebody that has the resources we just simply don't possess. Right. And that can actually help us get our music out there to the masses. At the end of the day, we're busting our ass, but it's a matter of money and it's a matter of contacts. And we don't have either of those two things at the scale we need to meet our vision. Mm-hmm. And I do believe that if the right person believes in us, like we believe in ourselves and a lot of our supporters believe in us, then there's magic there. We just gotta meet that person, and that person needs to know that Loops exists, because right now they don't know that we're even a thing. So that's a big goal of mine. I'm not going to end 2022 without signing with somebody. It's just a matter of, are they going to be a small company that's willing to take a chance on us, or are they going to be someone that actually has some clout and actually help us make an impact?
Well, and that's the thing too, is like, don't expect to tune in next week or even 2 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, 6 weeks from now, 3 months from now, expecting us to say like, hey guys, guess what? We just got signed or something like that, because...
And that's not what I'm saying either.
We haven't released our album yet, right? So we're susceptible to anything that's going to be happening to us in the next couple of months, right? But
absolutely,
but
very fluid.
Once the album comes on out, then it's just like we're going to be taking all this information in, and we're going to be, as much as like we're pushing Parachute and we're checking out is going to be pushed super hard as well. The album is the full piece, right? That's like all of our work.
Well, it's not just that it's all of our work. It's when you listen to the album, and this is a huge album plug, but that's okay. I hope if you haven't heard it yet, you don't have a digital copy, you're excited to get one physically in your hand when they arrive, or you'll hearing this, we'll just push you over the edge. You'll go to officialloops.com and you'll buy one for $10.
Totally.
Or you'll wait till they stream on the 25th of February. But regardless, the magic of this album is that it's an old school kind of album, in that you can listen to it at the start and all the way through. It paces the songs. It doesn't hit you with all the fast, energetic, upbeat songs at the same time. Yeah. There's a lot of pace and there's a lot of structure. There's a lot of songs on this album that rip your heart out, or make you feel sad, or make you cry, or make you feel emotions maybe you don't want to feel. But they're not all in a row. Like, it's very deliberate. We really worked hard on making an album that's a complete story, start to finish.
Absolutely.
And I'm really proud of that, to be honest. And I can't wait for people to hear the actual full album and get the full experience.
And then that's the thing too, right? Is like, even being approached by X amount of like labels or something like that, we also want to make sure that like it works for us, right? Like what is coming our way, and what do they expect from us? What do we expect from them, and whatever else, right? So we want to build that partnership, just like we've been saying since day one, right? With any kind of venue that we talk to, it's like we want to be here for the long run, right?
Yeah, we've always had that mentality.
Let us play here again. We'd love to play here for whatever.
Well, we're not just looking just for that one-time paycheck, no matter what we're doing. We want to build that connection, that partnership. I think that's how you're most successful, right? So I think that's going to be felt with the album and stuff. And anyways, that's enough of mine. I appreciate your feedback on it too. And that's just my top 5 for this year. Those are all 5 I really want to check off the list. So what's your top 5, buddy?
All right, are you ready for this?
Here we go. I'm ready. You got a weird grin on your face, so this is going to be interesting.
Bucket list venues.
Whoa,
it's almost like you were talking about this 10 minutes ago, 5 minutes ago,
doubt,
or whatever it was.
I was.
You literally mentioned this. It's like one of these days we're going to be talking about.
I brought up 2 things. I brought up like SNL and I brought up Wembley. Okay, that's so funny. Okay, cool.
So which ones do you think are going to be on mine?
Okay, I'll guess right off. You
want to guess? Okay.
Yeah, let me guess. Let me guess your 5, and we'll see how many of these I
go
can
for
get.
it.
Wembley Stadium.
Yeah. What would John?
I don't.
Want?
Okay. No. Yeah. Okay, so I don't know what it would be called, but there's going to be some place in Winnipeg, I think, that you'll have on your list. Don't tell me until the end.
Yeah.
So I think number 2 in your top 5 will be some place in Winnipeg that you would have grown up.
Two places in Winnipeg. That's what you think?
2 on the, no.
Oh, okay. Number two. Okay, gotcha.
Number 2. So we got Wembley Stadium. I know that for a fact. I would take a gun to my head and they could be full of 6 rounds. And
you're 1 for 1 so far.
I know I'm not going to die because I know Wembley Stadium.
Winnipeg,
Yeah, I think Winnipeg, somewhere in Winnipeg.
2 for 2.
Okay, yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I think Madison Square Gardens, maybe? No?
Number 3, buddy. 3 for 3.
Wow, 3 for 3.
Way to go, dude.
Holy crap. Okay, this is awesome. And then, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I'm tough on the other 2 because I don't even know if we've even talked about it. But if I'm trying to think how well I know you.
We've talked about a couple things.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's the closest thing to like that top 5 music list that we're probably gonna get to for a while.
Okay, so
like you can take a couple guesses, and I've probably said that they're in my top 5, but like when I actually thought about that and put them down, like pen to paper,
put some thought. Yeah,
this is like what I got.
Okay, so working off of that, and this is your segment.
And also, here's the thing too. Those 3 that you mentioned, are literally the first 3 that I put.
3.
and I usually say like no particular order, but like those are.
Well, they jumped off the.
Like
let's
3.
be honest, though, they have to be because if I came up with those, as
I look
the
at
first
this
3,
list of 5 that I got here. Like I got Wembley as like number 1, right?
I think
and that's self-explanatory.
There is an order to that.
Madison Square Garden, number 2.
Yeah,
before the Winnipeg one because it's Madison Square Garden.
MSG, man.
Of course, it's on there.
Yeah.
Number 3 is Winnipeg Folk Festival.
Okay, cool.
Winnipeg Folk Festival is like one of the biggest.
Be able to play that this year for all we know, man.
Well, who knows?
We might kill a bucket list with the 2 of us. We might knock off both of our top 5s.
Yeah. So.
Okay,
we still got 2 more left on this list.
So those are self-explanatory. Wembley,
but that is 1, 2, and 3.
I think if I can interject, not to step on your top 5, but if we can talk for a second, MSG goes without saying, Winnipeg Folk Festival. I kind of explained it for you when I predicted that it's got to be something from your youth.
Yeah,
you would have grown up and wanted to play that stage.
Yeah.
Wembley. Why is Wembley important to you, man? Tell us.
Wembley. I think Ed Sheeran. Yep. Ed Sheeran sealed the deal for me. I mean, I think that so many different artists have played there, and it's such an incredible venue with over 100,000 seats or something like that. It's absolutely nuts. So Ed Sheeran played there 2015 or something like that. He sold out 3 straight nights there.
It was his bucket list too, if you want to tell everyone at home that doesn't know Ed Sheeran like us.
It was.
He was so excited. What did he say though? That was weird for him once he played Wembley. You want to tell that story?
Well, I don't remember it like as well as you do probably, but like because I think that we were listening to another podcast.
Yeah. So basically, Ed just found it strange because he set this huge bar. He was John and Kevin. Mm-hmm. He just wasn't on a podcast, but he was sitting there and he was dreaming as well. And he's like, I have to play Wembley Stadium. That's my number 1 bucket list thing.
Yeah.
And he finally played Wembley Stadium and he felt empty after. He's like, I thought the skies were going to open up and it was going to be some magical spiritual moment. And he's like, and it wasn't. It was just another show. I hope that doesn't happen to us. No offense to Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
I think it will be magical, to be honest. I don't cry ever if anyone knows me, but that might be a Kevin crying moment just because for me, it's the Ed Sheeran element, but even more than Ed Sheeran. John, you've heard this story, I believe, but my dad and my mom in 1980, I was just literally less than a month old. And I believe it was November 8th. They played 2 shows in Wembley Stadium. Queen did.
Yeah.
And Queen, my dad's all-time favorite band. I grew up to Queen. I know every song off by heart. And they played 2 shows on November 8th, November 9th, and John Lennon got assassinated on the 8th. And Freddie played, I don't know if it was on the 8th or the 9th. I always get that date confused, but
it's probably the 9th if he was
I think it would have been the 9th,
on the 8th.
and it was 8 hours difference. And I think he got killed at like 11:30 at night or something like
really
that.
Late, yeah.
Yeah. So I think when you do the time difference, if they were there in the early afternoon,
it would have been like first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
In England, yeah.
Yeah. And then Freddie finds out, and then later that day they played the next day. So I think it was the 9th. And Freddie actually played because he was really close with John Lennon.
With John, yeah.
And Freddie played for the only time ever, Imagine, on piano.
On piano.
The greatest voice.
I
don't care. I will take this to my grave. This will be in a top 5 one day, and just know well in advance when I do the top 5 greatest singers of all time, Freddie's number 1. There's no debate.
Yeah.
Like he's number 1. And Freddie sang Imagine one time as a tribute. The coolest thing is that's also in my top 5 greatest presents I've given.
Yeah.
Is that's in my top 5 as a little sneak peek as well, because about 4 or 5 years ago now, maybe longer, I was able to track down a bootleg audio 8-track recording of that actual entire show, and get it onto CD for my dad as like a happy birthday present. And it was like one of the great presents I've ever given in my life.
Yeah.
He was so... I mean, my dad's so ate all that stuff with Queen that he's like, well, it was great. I mean, there's a couple songs in there from the 1986 concert in Montreal. I'm like, you got Freddie Mercury playing Imagine, buddy. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Love you, Dad. But yeah. So, anyways, I digress. But yeah, Wembley. I mean, that's incredible, man. I think that trumps the rest of the list almost.
Like
but
bucket list, like number 1 venue to ever play. I think it's both of our number 1 dreams.
Absolutely,
like,
it is.
Like in there,
no doubt. Wembley number 1.
I think that. It's definitely the hardest one to get out of any of these other ones.
Well, dude, especially as 2 Canadians.
Yeah, right. It's tough, but I mean, that's why it's on the list.
That's why it's on the list.
That's why it's number 1,
that's why
right?
It's number 1.
Do you want to guess the last 2, or do you just want me to tell you?
Maybe like Rogers Center or like Vancouver.
I was thinking about it.
Yeah,
it's not on there though.
And then. I don't know, maybe like Tokyo Dome in Japan or something like that. I think you would like something like that. Maybe a big stadium like in Rio de Janeiro or something.
Right. Which I'll be completely honest, I did think about all those things.
Cool. Sweet.
I thought about them, but they didn't make the 5.
All right. Give me your last 2, buddy.
The last 2. Number 5. Okay. Number 5 on the list is...
wow, this is a numbered list, this one.
Yeah, it actually is.
Okay, cool. I like it.
So number 5 on the list, and then I'll get to number 4. But number 5 is Coachella.
Well, okay,
I think that it would just be cool to say that you played Coachella just one time, right?
I think this goes
like
back,
not even on the main stage. It's just like it's almost like the Pitchfork, which Pitchfork was almost in there just because like they have got a massive festival, and some of my favorite like smaller artists like the band Whitney, right? Yeah. Like they've played that like 3 or 4 different times, and they played the Winnipeg Folk Festival. Yeah. They're like one of the smaller bands that I still like follow to this day. Who I watched grow from 300 followers to now they're over 60,000 or 70,000 or something like that. So Coachella's on there because
nice. I love that.
Right?
Yeah.
The last one is Glastonbury.
Really?
Which, if you don't know too much about this one, it's a festival in England. It's like a 3-day arts, and it's like every other festival pretty much, except for you've got hundreds of thousands of people who are at this festival, looking to listen to their favorite artists. Ed Sheeran played it in like 2009 before he got signed.
Wow.
Yeah, he played it.
Cool.
He played it on like one of their like small stages.
Of course he did. Yeah.
But it was still to like 300 people or something like that in like this tiny tent. There's like some like small video that I remember watching him play. Like
is like yesterday.
You see me, or like you need me.
Yeah, you need me.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't need you.
Yeah, exactly that one. But he's playing that in that tent,
primitive
and then
version
everybody's
of
like, "Woo!" Like this is my favorite thing in the world, right?
Well, half of
and
those.
Then a year later,
this is what I was saying about Loops being on a festival stage. Well, half those people might not have even known who Ed Sheeran was at the start of that.
Yeah,
and they're like, we're here.
Well, probably more at this festival of whatever it is, over 100,000 people. Yeah. It's nuts.
Yeah, they're there. They're like, hey, I don't like the main act right now, so I'll go check out the smaller stuff, because they probably just loved indie music and they're grinders and they like to hear the music before it comes out. And then they hear this stuff and they're like, this guy's sick. This is awesome. What that 18 song was awesome. Lego House, that was great.
Too many artists to name on that festival stage who played there before, but it cracked my top 5, man.
Sick, man.
So there's 3 festivals on there, and then there's 2 venues.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, from 5 to 1, it's Coachella, Glastonbury, Winnipeg Folk Festival, just because it's from my home.
Of course.
Madison Square Garden, Wembley.
Sick.
That was the 5, buddy.
All right, buddy. Fist pump to
There
that.
we go,
I love
yeah.
that. That is so cool. I'm really proud that I pegged the top 3.
Yeah, no kidding. Hey.
All right. So yeah, we got through our stuff. I think we're going to be close to wrapping this up now. So let me do our goals. What are you working on in the next little bit, man? What are some stuff that we got on the up and coming?
Well, like immediately, pretty much like after this episode, as it is every week, it's like the next 10 hours are basically dedicated to making sure that everything's perfect with this, uploading it onto all of our streaming services.
And you do a great job too, just to shout it out.
Oh, thanks, buddy. So that's pretty much like tomorrow. I'm also going to be, hopefully hearing back from people that I messaged back on Friday and Thursday and Wednesday about gigs. So hopefully I got a lot of messages to respond to, because typically Mondays and Tuesdays are the busiest days for like venues to get back to, because that's their downtown during the week, right?
Well, and this is the start of the week. They're going through their emails from the weekend. Like
exactly.
They're filtering through like anybody else. Right?
100%. So yeah, that's most of my plan this week. On Friday, I mean, we've got a super important meeting with one of our first.
This is the first like actual pure record label meeting that we're having. So
who are based out in London, England.
We'll keep the name.
We'll keep it anonymous.
Courtesy, yeah, we'll keep it anonymous. We mentioned this, I believe, in last week as well, that we had some conversations. So we have an actual, in typical Loops, Kevin and John style.
Yeah.
We had a little back and forth, and there was a little interest, and we just that much more hit it hard, and we're like, hey, you know what, man? As much as we'd love to just tell you all about us, because this the director and the person that runs the label was like, I'm very interested in you guys, but I want to know more about you as people. Yeah. Which I told you this when I first read that email. I was like, you know what, that really is a good sign to me.
Yeah.
You get red flags sometimes. To me, that's like whatever the opposite would be, a white flag. Like that's a good sign, because if you're going to invest or you want to even partner or in any way, even if they don't invest, but they're not getting us to spend money, but they want to use their resources to help us, you're only going to do that with somebody that you know a little bit about.
Yeah.
Right? You're not going to, because why would you bother risking everything you've worked hard for because of some idiots, a loose cannon, right?
Yeah.
You want to know a bit about the background of the people. And at that point, I kind of I'm pretty proud of the email, to be totally honest with you.
Yeah.
And I just let them know, like, hey, I give a little bit of background, police officer, John, you're kind of a little bit of your story. But I'm like, at the end of the day, like, we would much
rather... You don't know who we are until...
we want to look you in the eyes. Yeah, we want to look you in the eyes. We want to hear your voice. We want to, we want to talk to you. We want to tell you all about us. We want you to see us, hear us, get to know us. And that's the best way you're going to know our story, is if we can just talk. So we can get a Zoom meeting. And he loved it. He's like, hey, you definitely got my interest. I'm totally in.
You just schedule an appointment.
And we have Friday. We're getting up super early. Well, not super early, but we're early enough. We're going to be ready hours before in anticipation, I'm sure. But it's our actual appointment. Yeah, it's super early for us.
Yeah.
And then 6:00 England time. It's going to be early afternoon. We didn't want to be the last ones in the day. That's why we didn't do it later. And that's pretty much my highlight of the upcoming week too, I think, is having that appointment.
So I mean, that's super important. And just want to make sure that everything's going to go pretty smooth throughout the rest of the week. And that's pretty much all that I got moving forward for this week coming up. What are your goals for the week, buddy?
I think goals and upcoming goals is no different than with you. You've been grinding and working really hard to get us a bunch of gigs. You've already lined some of those up. And with that, I'm trying to be as organized as I possibly can, because I've been finding the things that we did, even if they were super anal, back in early, 2020, late 2019, when we first were starting the band, they're paying off in dividends right now, right? Little things like spreadsheets we set up on Excel, they're helping us now with inventory and things like that with our merch. So that's a big thing I want to be able to do is help out on the process of, while we're trying to get gigs. You're not the only one that does it. Like, obviously I try to help as well, but you're the one that's been reaching out to them, because you've been getting really awesome at
well, just the pitch, right?
And the pitch,
just the pitch, especially for those venues who may only have like a certain budget for
Well, you put the reps in, though, right? You've been putting the reps in, and you've been getting those ones that only have a couple $100. You've been getting us like, cool, double. You've been getting us double of what they can afford, right? Like which has been amazing. So, I think that's a big thing I want to do throughout this week. I've talked about this to you privately, even over this weekend. And, I want to just help cultivate those leads for you. If that's something I can do in my time, is in addition to all my other hats I'm wearing, is get you extra leads. And if I can just keep feeding you, like this place, talk to this person, this place, I don't have a contact, but this is a phone number, this is an email, this is, a Facebook page, blah, blah, blah. If I can get you dozens and dozens and dozens of those, we're going to work more seamlessly and we're going to work smoother as a team.
And with that as well, I also want to mention to anybody who's still looking for gigs and always, reaching out to that next place and whatnot, find yourself a specific time and then like dedicate that, like those few hours or whatever you have. If you only have half an hour, make sure that you have like a list ready to go and then reach out to all those venues. Like, it's not a copy and paste. Of course, you always want to like specialize it like a little bit to that venue. You want to say like, hey, this is where I found you and like why I'm reaching out.
But there's nothing wrong with having a template, to your point.
But exactly, you want to have that template and then you want to just run with it. So if that's one thing that you can take away from my point of view this week, is make sure that you give yourself enough time. And then if you have somebody like Kev who can just come up with like a whole bunch of different lists, or if you're just scrolling through Instagram, make mental notes or take screenshots, whatever helps you, make sure that you can reach out to all these different places. And
another thing on that note is find out what your strengths are. If you have a couple people in your band or your group, or you're not just one person, work together as seamlessly as you can, working within your strengths. That's one thing that early on, with the best of intentions, we both were just like, let's just work hard, let's work hard. And we weren't working as smart as we could. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm really good on the phone with people.
Absolutely,
you get me on the phone with somebody, or get me in a room with them, and I will sell them. Period. Yeah, I've gotten us numerous gigs, even in the last 6 months. Yeah, just on the phone with somebody where they literally didn't have a budget for the rest of the year, and I still got us a $500 gig playing, an outside show, and it's like, that's what I'm good at. So I need to be on the phone, reaching out to people, making contact with them, and then telling them, hey, we'll send you an email, and then you send the polished off perfect email.
That's the thing, right?
That's teamwork.
I've heard of a lot of different bands who use like a system where it's like, if you are the one who books the gig, you get X percentage from the gig because that's what you deserve for getting that gig, right? And I understand the logic of it. I don't think that it's the most efficient way of getting yourself out there and getting yourself to move forward. Yeah. And it's tough. It's hard to motivate yourself sometimes when you haven't heard back from 30 different places or 50 different places, right? The not the only thing, but one of the things that always motivates me is, Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran reached out to over 200 different places about playing a gig in London before he even moved to LA, and only 50 got back. So, you know what? That was 1 out of every 4 for him. Yeah. But, those 50 are the ones that he always remembers.
He remembers them.
He remembers them to this day.
Absolutely.
He's like, if they didn't give me that chance, I wouldn't have been able to get up on the stage 50 times. Yeah. And then be able to go to LA, have all this stuff behind me as well.
Exactly. Yeah, so that's a big thing for me is working and helping as our team, kind of the way I can, using my skills and my tool sets. I think the last thing, just for upcoming goals and upcoming things, we already mentioned checking out. It's coming soon, so get in there. Make sure you follow us if you can. If you're still listening now, almost an hour and 10 minutes in, thank you so much. This is pretty much our standard. We were an hour and 6 last time. We were an hour and 30 the first time, but that was the first set. So they're usually going to be around this length. So thank you so much for tuning into this point. If you haven't done so already, again, just to hammer it home, please go shoot us a follow on Spotify. Make sure you get those songs on your playlists, and tell your friends and stuff. Be like, hey, I'm listening to this new podcast. It's 3 weeks in. They're my friend, family member. Yeah. Just band that I love. Follow. Yeah. And it's super fun. And let people know that's the only way this is going to grow organically. But we're having fun, honestly.
Absolutely.
So I'm enjoying just doing this in general. This has been great. Checking out's coming. We're excited about it. And I wanted to finish the last note before we're done. John, you did the hard work. You got us these couple gigs this week. Can you let everybody know the gigs that we have coming up over the next few weeks? We have 4 gigs lined up for February. Tell them the next 4 gigs that we have on the plate right now.
Yeah, right now, I mean, we've got a busy couple of weeks with interviews, and obviously we got a couple of meetings lined up as well, and we're always working on other stuff as well. But as of right now, we've got the FE Arts Collective here in Kamloops booked for January 29th.
Yep.
We've got Barside Lounge here in Kamloops, February 4th.
That was awesome. When we played that for the first time last week.
It was really, really great.
Week and a bit ago now.
Yep.
It was so busy. And this place probably seats 7,500 people, whatever. But it was so busy throughout the show that
they were turning people away.
Yeah. It went from 7 till 10, and no lie, about 7:45-ish, almost 8 o'clock till just after 9 was steady. Like I would watch people coming up to the door and they were getting turned away because they're like, we have no seats, man.
Yeah.
So go on. Yeah. Barside. I'm excited for that.
Barside, and then their sister company, Match Eatery, we're playing there on February 18th.
Yes. That's a big casino in town, and it's a really high end, like fine dining restaurant.
Following February 18th, February 24th is going to be our album release. So our album release party is still TBD, but it's one of my goals as well to get this locked in by next podcast.
Absolutely.
By episode 4 here. Album release is the 25th for those in Ontario.
And if we can elaborate a little more, what is the exact goal? Because you had mentioned earlier in the show, so just to tie it together in a nice little bow for everybody, it's gonna launch worldwide. 12 a.m.
Eastern.
Officially the 25th, which is Friday morning, but that's going to be Eastern time. So that means we have a little wiggle room living out on the West Coast. It's 9 p.m., which is perfect. So what's the plan for that? We want to have everyone hear it.
So the plan with that is we're going to be out at a venue, and we, like we said, it's going to be TBD until we get something locked in for sure. But it's going to be a celebration. It's going to be a big party for us to say, like, hey, we worked super hard on this album. We want all these people to come on support. Like, we know that there's a couple from Ontario, your family from Ontario, and, family from Winnipeg. And
they're already coming for sure.
The island, and, we've got our producer coming in, whatever else. Hopefully, he'll be able to come on out for it. And, so that's going to be the 24th. We're going to play like a little bit of music that night, but it's mostly going to be a celebration.
Exactly. Right? It's not going to be a show. You're not going to, if you get tickets for it, you're not coming to watch, a loop show, because you can do that anytime. What you're going to do is we're going to have tickets, but you're going to get the actual album itself. Signed if you want. I mean, that's fine. And we're going to give some swag away too. So we're going to have a special limited edition t-shirt that's just for the album. That's going to say album release party. Might be with all the songs on the back.
Even more generous that night. We might be like, you know what? We're super stoked. Here's an extra something. Oh, 100%. On the side as well.
I can't see why not.
So
we usually get like that.
Yeah.
And then we're also going to make sure everyone gets kind of like a drink ticket just to loosen everyone up. And so the big thing for us is it's not going to be, you're not going to go pay to watch a show.
Yeah.
You're not going to pay to watch like our egos and us just play a bunch of music.
Yeah.
Like, no, we're going to be there enjoying it with everybody else. It's just going to be a celebration of the hard work that we made, and let's kind of just enjoy this moment together. And that's going to ring in. My point I was trying to make is it's going to ring in at 9 o'clock in BC time.
In Pacific,
Originally, just so everyone knows, to be totally candid with you guys, it was originally going to be on January 28th. Yeah. We talked about that a bunch. I even made, you helped,
I got a call about it last week.
Yeah.
Where somebody, where somebody was like, I thought that it was coming out on the 28th. I'm like, nope, checking out.
Not anymore. So
single.
What had happened was, because of the restrictions, we had a venue lined up. We literally were planning it. We were starting to get people at the actual stage where they were going to be buying tickets to travel from out of
town.
Plane tickets, multiple people. But we had to make sure we had it locked down 100%. And because of the restrictions at the end of December, unfortunately, it just got in the way. We weren't able to have the venue that we had, which was going to be perfect. We won't mention the venue because they're fantastic. We love them.
Absolutely.
We don't want to call them out by any means. So it happened. It is what it is. Honestly, I know you're the same as me, Jay. And when we get shitty things like that happen, I like to look at it as you know what? There's a reason for this. There's no way this is happening by accident. We were meant to release the album a little bit later.
Yep.
I have a voice in my head, a beautiful, lovely voice, and I hear it, and I'm like, you know what? Yeah, you're right, voice. And it reminds me of those moments. So
right.
I think the voice is right, and we were meant to release it a month later.
Yeah,
we're having a meeting with one label. Maybe we'll have a meeting with 3 or 4 more. Maybe nothing will change between now and February, but it's given us a little bit more of a window. It's letting Parachute breathe a little more. We didn't even give ourselves a pat on the back, but Parachute's over like 16,000 streams, which is mental. Mm-hmm. It's absolutely mental in the first 3 or 4 weeks. So we're super excited about that. Checking Out's going to have almost a month at that point. It's going to have just shy of a month, 4 straight weeks to be released as well.
Yep.
And then the album comes. So it was originally going to be the 28th. It's going to be the 25th now.
Yep.
And then I think we have another.
So that's the 24th. 25th, we are actually planning on doing like a cheesy actual like show.
Yeah.
So that venue is also to be determined at the moment, but I'm not going to say where it might be at the moment.
When he's saying TBD, just so everyone knows, this isn't just us being like, we hope we find a place. We have multiple options.
It's that I don't want to say anything on air.
Exactly. Yeah.
that's the thing.
Same
and
as
then
where
something changes last minute, right?
And same as the one that where the actual venue for the release party.
Yeah. So these are the things.
We're like 90% locked down between two different venues. We just haven't decided on.
Well, these are the things like where like the contract hasn't been signed yet, where it's it's not worth our while to say it, and then something changes, and then
and then we look like
even if it's only 60 listeners who are like tuning into this, it's like I don't want to. We don't ever overpromise.
We don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. That's always been our motto since day one.
So that's the 25th. We're gonna have at least one opener for us that day as well, and then the 26th we're gonna be out in Kelowna playing at Lakesider Brewing, which we're super excited to be playing that one as well. So
that was another one you got this week.
So for sure, our locked in ones for the next 4 or 5 weeks or whatever it is going to be January 29th.
Yep, Effie.
At Effie Arts Collective. February 4th.
Yep.
At Barside Lounge.
Yep.
February 18th, we're going to be at Match Eatery. And then February 26th, we will be out in
Kelowna.
Yeah, Lakesider Brewing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you're in Kelowna area, mark that on your calendar.
Or Vernon.
And if you're in the Kamloops area, this is rare. Like we haven't played 3 shows in the Kamloops area in a while because we've been really working hard to get our name and reputation outside of the actual bubble that we're in. So we're going to be playing a couple shows in February during Kamloops. So I think that pretty much wraps it up, man.
That pretty much wraps it up.
You got anything else you want to say, buddy?
I always have stuff to say.
I know. This is true.
I think that we're running a little bit later than we anticipated this week. And
we're good.
I know.
Hour and 17. We're good. Everyone, if they're listening now, we love you listening.
Thanks for listening. We truly appreciate it.
And thank you so much for your support. We appreciate it. And until next time, keep on keeping on.
Absolutely. Have a good week, everybody.
Bye.
I saw your eyes before I ever looked at you. I always knew that you'd find me. To my surprise.